Galleria was a mean girl, and Aqua lost her accent. Let's get into it.
Christ's love isn't like everybody else's love. It's not like the world's love. The world's love loves you when you do things right or when you do things with them. But as soon as you make a mistake, they take that love away. But what I've experienced with the love of Christ is that it loves first. It loves through wrongdoing. It loves when you shouldn't be loved anymore. It's unconditional. And that's the love that I believe is going to change the world and has changed me.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Micaiah. I'm back and I'm black and I'm back and I'm black and I'm back and I'm black and I'm back and I'm black.
Yo, Sasha here. Excuse me? Supermodels do not fly business class. Now, I'm not gonna demand a private jet, but I think Jag could at least spring for first class.
And today I am bringing you all some more Cheetah Girls content. If you didn't see my previous video where I touched on we were supposed to have a dark-skinned Cheetah Girl, 2 specifically, but let's just focus on Aqua. She was supposed to be dark-skinned as based within the books, and I touched on that, so if you get the chance, please make sure you check that out. But I want to dive into this because I think from Cheetah Girls 1 to Cheetah Girls 2, Cheetah Girls 2 was a lot more polished. I love Cheetah Girls 2. Okay, let's just make this clear. I have to always do a PSA to make it clear that I love the Cheetah Girls. So this is just someone who's providing commentary, another perspective on various different matters within the franchise. But I love the Cheetah Girls, okay? So let's just make that all the way clear right here, right now. So, 1, as I was stating, the Cheetah Girls 1 compared to Cheetah Girls 2 was a lot more polished. I love Cheetah Girls 2 better than Cheetah Girls 1. And I think it was a lot of differences between it. That's why I think I also like Cheetah Girls 2 the best. However, we can't deny that Cheetah Girls 2 was more polished, and it made them more, not as raw and gritty as we seen within the first one. And even with Aqua's accent, it was like, where did her accent go?
Label, starts no good food, dude. I love New York, but y'all don't know nothing about spicing up some food.
You didn't handle this. Now I will. You might be right, babe, but you can't make decisions for the whole group.
She was this country bumpkin, this like sweetie pie. Well, not sweet, but you know what I mean. She had that accent, and it was like, where did it go? Where did her hot sauce go? And that's why I say it was very different comparing the first one to the second one, is because she was so much more polished, and overall the movie was so much more polished. And also, if we compare it to the book, in the book, okay, Galleria was a mean girl. She had a lot of colorist behavior. If you take the time to actually read the books, she was.
Well, I'm sorry. We can't change the Cheetah Girls.
She was indeed. I know it's crazy to say because in the movies, I'm on her side all day, all day. As I'm editing the video, I'm thinking back to the first Cheetah Girls. She most definitely was being even more bossy and meaner than she was in the second one. So I think they showed her growth. But in the first one, I wasn't really on her side all the way. But I got all perspectives. But she was being a little snotty, a little catty, and mean towards the other girls. So that most definitely was displayed in the first one. However, in the books, she was a different monster. But before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to see more of me. And if you're new, hey. And if you're a returner, I really, truly appreciate the love. If you get the chance, please check out my social media platforms down within the description box, where I display my passion for fashion, along with other interests that I have. And for all who are new, you should know I do an array of topics. I am extremely diverse. I love nostalgic topics. I love more nerdy topics. I love more conscious topics, and I love to dibble and dabble within vlogs. So if you're someone that has various different interests as I do, then you'll most definitely love it over here. So let's get back into the video. I'm sorry if I sound a little funny. I'm still like recovering from being underneath the weather, but I thank the Lord that I'm feeling so much better. However, I did want to talk on these 2 topics and like merge it into one, because I did want to dive more into like the Cheetah Girls franchise, especially after like continuously like reading the book. And the first topic is truly Galleria was very rude and very mean and very catty in the books. I know some people portray her as mean in the movie. I don't see it that way. But in the books, homegirl was so mean, rude colorist. She hated on the twins. Like, it was bad. She was very, like, I know we seen she was bossy in the movie, but that level of bossiness doesn't compare to the book. Does not compare at all. And as we know, she was the leader. She was the one leading everything. But if you know, I'm about to give a spoilers for like the next couple of seconds if you plan to read the book. But in the book, she was used to running everything with Chanel. Chanel went along with everything she wanted. Then when the twins came around, then when Dorinda came around, everything changed. And Dorinda is another story. I may do a separate video on that, but we're not touching on Dorinda right now. We're focusing specifically on Galleria. So if you really take the time to read the book, Galleria was very catty, very rude, and she had a lot of colorist behavior. And it's interesting to see with a lot of this colorist behavior portrayed within the book, I'm wondering if that was intentional of the writer and the author, of the author, for it to be like, okay, let's show this side, or was the author kind of giving colorist behavior? Because it's also not a coincidence why we never received a darker complexion cheetah girl, when in fact in this book the two twins were darker complexion, and Aqua was one of the two twins, which that's another subject. Please go check out my other video so that you can dive more into that realm. However, it's just so much within this franchise that I've been like diving deeper into, and I still love it down. Don't get me wrong, we can critique things and still love it so much. However, it makes me think like, okay, I was rooting for Galleria so much within the movies, but in the books, I don't like her. I don't like her in the book. She's not my cup of tea. She's mean, she's rude, she wants everyone to do what she wants them to do. She wants like yes men around her. That's what I got from reading it. You all can let me know your thoughts if you did get the chance to read the novels. I'm only probably going to read this book because the way the dialogue is written and the way a lot of the different things are, it's not something I want to keep reading further. However, I may, depending on how I want to dissect everything, but right now I think I'm cool with just reading this aspect because this is book 1 through 4 all in one.
Editor Micaiah back at it again, but I also wanted to mention the vernacular of the book is real interesting, like the verbiage that she decides to use. So it can be a little cringe. So that's why I said I may not even dive into the further books. But as we know, I do like to have these kind of conversations to have a full picture. I may need to, but as of right now, I think I'm content.
However, I've had enough of Galleria based off of reading this book. She gives me a headache. She's very rude. She's very mean. And I don't like people that want everyone to like follow after them and don't want others to have their own identity. It's because what it seemed like is she wanted everyone to follow after her. Now in the movie, she's portrayed as a bossy quality. She is the leader, but it was a different kind of bossy. It was kind of like more so she wanted things handled. She wanted everyone to be on top of her stuff, but that's not how she was in the books. So next, we're gonna dive into Miss Aqua. Okay, as we know, in the books, Aqua was country. She was from Houston. She loved her hot sauce. And we've seen some of those aspects and that essence within the first movie, right? We've seen that very much. From my interpretation of it, Aqua came off more mean in the first movie than Galleria, which was very interesting because in the books, Galleria is the mean girl, in my opinion. So within the movie, we've seen that she was very country for the first one, then all of a sudden in the second one, where'd the accent go? Where'd the accent go? My cousin brought this up and it really made me think like, yeah, she was so much more polished. Not to say she can't want greater things, and not to say that she can't want to go along with Galleria's mom and, you know, be a fashion designer and all that. That's not what I'm saying. But where did the accent go? Your accent doesn't just disappear. It may like soften a little bit. It's not as strong. Like we could see from the beginning of Rihanna's career. I'm using an example. From the beginning of Rihanna's career, how strong her accent was compared to now, but you still hear essence of her accent. But with Aqua, it was like, girl, where did your accent go? Where did it go? And that just showed that they were trying to polish the whole franchise up. And I'm specifically talking about Disney. They were trying to polish the whole franchise up where it kind of watered down what it originally was within the books. And that's in so many different ways. They made it more palatable for all different audiences, which I'm not going to say is not a crime because I love the Cheetah Girls. I want to make that clear. I love 1 through 3. I'm not one to say, oh, I don't like this. No, I like 1 through 3. However, like I said, we can critique it. And based off of the books, they most definitely polished all of the girls up, if I'm being honest, especially in the second and third movie compared to how the books are. And we see this time and time again with various different series that are based off of novels that do end up switching gears and all of that. But I found it to be interesting that Disney switched so many different gears, it's not even funny. So if you really take the time to like really read the book, then you would know that Disney switched up so much from the book, and off of face value you wouldn't think they did, but when you read it, you're like, wait, hold on, they did a lot. They switched it up a lot. So I'm interested to know all of your thoughts on these two specific topics and on any other ones that you can think of, because I think that the Cheetah Girls franchise is one that we love, one that we just care about so deeply. I know me, it was just so refreshing to see on my screen as a child. I love the Cheetah Girls. But I think it's interesting to dissect the whole franchise, especially comparing it to the book, because compared to the book, it's a lot different. And some of those differences may be pros, but also some of those differences may be cons. I thank you all for watching. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed. Please leave your thoughts and perspectives on the matter. But once again, please, as I always say, be respectful down within the comment section. And I want you all to remember that you are loved by the God who created the universe. He made you for such a special purpose. There's no mistake about you. You are wonderfully made. He knew you before you were in your mother's womb. So let your light shine bright, and I'll check you all out in the next video. Stay blessed, everyone.